Coming at you live from beautiful South Pasadena. This is the Blue Heaven Podcast. What's up, guys? My name is Brooke. You can find me at BrookeMe3 on Twitter and Instagram. On today's show, there is no Clint. It's just me today. So if you can hear me, please let me know. If you can't hear me, definitely let me know that, because obviously running the show by myself, got to turn on the show lights, which I did not do, but I appreciate you guys for being here. On today's show, well, easy. We got Division Series Game 2 against the Giants. We'll talk about that. We'll go through the lineups. We'll talk about the pitching matchup, which we obviously are not looking forward to ever. We also kind of got to revisit the stinker of a game last night because, well, it sucked. It was terrible. I didn't like watching it. I don't know where you guys watched it from, but a little bit of garbage to watch last night. As a reminder, you can find us on all your preferred podcast mediums. Isn't that right, Matt Kim? That's right. That includes Spotify, iTunes, Pandora, wherever you listen to us. Make sure you go download us. Listen to us there. We're great. We're fun. There's usually two of us. There's not usually one of us. But we also ask that you please subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/DodgersNationTV. It makes it easier for you to get notifications like when we go live like this, so you can be here in the chat, talk to us, get alerts sent straight to you, and that'll make Doug really happy. Doug McCain. He'll be around. You guys can see him on the post-game show pretty often. Doug will be so happy. And don't you just like a happy Doug? See some people hopping into the stream. Good to see a lot of you. Details on tonight. We got the 6:07 first pitch tonight on TBS. Please let me know how you guys feel about that TBS stream. I feel like I have some pretty mixed reviews on it so far early on in the season. But team notes, Dodgers against Giants. Once again, the two top NLDS teams, the two top teams of baseball going at it again. Let's talk about it a little bit yesterday. Don't forget, this is a live stream. Make sure you drop into the comments. Let us know where you're repping Dodger Nation. We want to shout you guys out a little bit. Ernie Garcia over on Facebook says, let's go Dodgers. Ivan Nunez says, nervous as AF. Yuri Ace will continue his streak tonight. I'm really hoping that's very true. The 20-game winner, Julio Urias, on the mound. We need him so badly. Boyd over on Facebook says, let's get the split and bring it home. That's important to note that it does come home on Monday, which does mean a lot. Julian says, yes, we can hear you, bruv. Julian, thanks for letting me know. I definitely needed to know that. King Yellowman on YouTube, Vamos Doyers. Alondra on Facebook, let's get the W. Bats need to wake up from Julian. That they do. They absolutely do. Leslie's got things to say about the hat. My hat is backwards. I'm filling in my role for Clint today, who is not here. Pray for him. His bathroom exploded. Not really, but it kind of exploded. Anthony Keene over on YouTube says, yo, happy divisional Saturday, my dude. Look at you, Anthony, adjusting. I appreciate you on that one. Sicko XMs on YouTube says, we need the offense to show up tonight and help out Julio with run support. That's the biggest thing. You have Walker last night, who arguably was not his sharpest, but he also did not put up a performance that would warrant any sort of like automatic loss or anything like that. And then the bats don't show up. If the bats don't show up, it doesn't really matter how Julio pitches, and that's something that we've kind of been doing all season long. Julian on YouTube says, is Kemp subbing in for Clint? That's right. Matt Kemp is here in the flesh, but as a cardboard cutout. So that has to mean something, right? I don't know. He's usually up here in this corner, but I just felt like I didn't want to center the camera on just myself because I don't need you guys to see too much of me, because too much of me has never been a good thing for anybody. So you get Matt Kemp, you get something else to look at. Tina over on Facebook says, go blue. Julian says, you take your pre-show shot. I did a shot and a beer because it's just me. So I'm drinking for two, I guess. I don't really know how that works. Gian possibly says, why the hell is Cody playing his at-bat last night? Swung at 3 bad pitches. It's tough to judge anybody based off of last night. You know, if you're talking about a starting lineup and you're saying, why is this person starting based on last night? You could say that pretty much about everyone in the damn lineup. Why are any of them starting tonight? Because they were all garbage last night. Logan Webb made us look good. And we're going to jump into that. Let's just jump straight into it because last night sucked. The Dodgers get shut out by Logan freaking Webb, of all people. The ugliest man I've ever met in my entire life. He strikes out 10, does not issue a single walk, only 92 pitches through 7 2/3, and for a while he was even at a lower pitch count and a more efficient pitch count. He was throwing strikes, arguably getting calls that he absolutely should not have had. I'm thinking of calls specifically against Will Smith and Walker Buehler when they were both in the box. Oof, those are some bad calls in there. If you guys remember those from last night, go off on them in the comments. I want to hear your thoughts on them. Umpiring has just been bad. Umpiring's just been bad. If you've watched any of the playoff games across baseball over the past couple of days, you'll probably notice umpiring's been notably pretty bad. Granted, it's postseason, so people are going to notice these things a lot more. And maybe it's not up or down or anything like that, but it has not looked good. Webb gives up 5 hits. The Dodgers leave 5 on base, and they go 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position. That is not the recipe for a winning team. However, all of that with a lineup, as Clint, not Matt Kemp, predicted, that would look pretty good on paper. That was one of the best lineups that I've ever seen Dave put out in a postseason, given the players that he had available to him. We obviously love the Matt Beatty start. You got to start Cody in this series, so it makes sense. But it is one of the best lineups that we've seen, given the players that he had. The update on that, they were not good. They were absolutely terrible. Bottom of the lineup, by the way. Bottom of the lineup went 0 for 9 between Beatty, Bellinger, and Pollock, and that's not even counting the pitcher spot. Strike out 5 times. I mean, they just look lost up there. Again, Walker was not the sharpest that he's ever been. He gives up that early home run to Buster Posey that goes oppo on him on a 3-0 count, which I'm calling Giants devil magic or cheating lab. I don't know what we need to call on that, but that was pretty ridiculous. After the game, though, if you have Walker Buehler shouldering a lot of the blame for sucking the energy out of the dugout and the energy out of the offense, and he only gave up, those 2 runs and kind of found his groove before giving up another solo dolo. Can't blame him too much. You kind of feel for the guy. He was definitely shoving in those middle innings. It's not really a good look. Neil over on YouTube says ump was terrible only for SF. Yeah, I mean, Logan Webb got a lot of calls that Walker Buehler did not get. There was one call in particular where Walker hit the bottom of the zone with a strike or with a fastball, and it wasn't called, and it was right down the middle. I have a lot of questions. I got a lot of questions about these people. And then he says, bring on the robo-umps. I think we're getting there. I think we're definitely getting there. Gianni on Facebook says, North of the Bay, California, go Dodgers. Let's get this done tonight. Dong Kim says, please don't say Angel Hernandez is behind the plate today. Dong, Angel Hernandez is behind the plate today. So, if you guys are watching the game tonight, I would say be patient, if that's even a thing. I don't even know if you can be patient with Angel Hernandez. I mean, I've seen a lot of bad umpires in my day. As an established 28-year-old human being, I've seen a lot of bad umpiring, but I don't think I've seen anything worse than Angel Hernandez before. So this should be interesting. Hopefully, if he's going to be bad, he's going to be consistently bad on both sides, and that way, you don't have to argue too much, Gretchen over on Facebook says the ump stunk from the beginning, but we beat ourselves. That's absolutely true. Absolutely true. We beat ourselves from the beginning, regardless of what the umpires did during that game. The Dodgers did not come out. They did not hit. They didn't show up. They didn't really feel like they were present at all. Craig says umpire crews call strikes out of zone. No wonder players are swinging out of the zone. That's true. Zone was expanded. Again, you look at the breakdown of it, and it obviously went into the Giants' favor a little bit, but not enough to the point where you're like, that's why we lost. We lost because we sucked. We lost because the bats didn't show up. Nobody showed up. Oh, good. Clint's dropping $1 super chat in there. Thank you, Clint. That goes directly to me. That's my $1 for doing this show. You're welcome. Robert on Facebook also says umpiring has been getting progressively worse for the past 3 years. I don't know about the timeline of that. I would say that it is more noticeable. I definitely think it's more noticeable. Dong asks, are the criticisms against Pollock fair, do you think? We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to get into the starting lineup, and I want to talk about whether or not he should actually be in the starting lineup right now. Oscar says, I hate TBS announcers. It's not Joe Buck, so I'll take what I can. So, jumping into it a little bit, we're talking about the Division Series Game 2. The Dodgers put out their lineup. A little bit of a shakeup. I don't think enough of a shakeup after a day when you just absolutely do not show up with the bats whatsoever. I'm not one of those guys that's like change everything, move everybody around, slide everybody, put Mookie down in the 3 spot, move Trey to the lead off. I'm not one of those guys. I'm not, okay? But they moved Cody Bellinger in to play first base. CT3's back in the lineup in center field. It was... And you correct me if I'm wrong here on this, it was very odd that CT was not in the lineup after being the only guy to do anything in the wild card game. I mean, you look at the wild card game, and a lot of it's very similar to what happened in Game 1 of the Division Series. They were just kind of bad, weren't making a lot of contact. When they were making contact, it was bad contact. They were striking out. Chris Taylor comes in, hits that walk-off shot, and then is not in the lineup. I think I get the reasoning, because you obviously have bats in there, you have healthy guys in there. CT maybe arguably not 100% healthy. I don't know. I don't think that you can totally justify him not being in the lineup moving forward, I guess, because you're looking at a lineup that is stalled out offensively, and you got to shake things up. So the fact that he's in there today makes sense. He can cover the ground in center field, and that's what they're looking for out of Cody Bellinger. Notably, Dave had said that Cody Bellinger would start all 3 games in center field played at Oracle Park, but he will not. Mookie leads off at right field, Corey at shortstop, Trey Turner at second, JT at third, Will Smith the catcher, CT3 in center, Cody at first, AJ in left, and Julio on the mound. My only question about this lineup, and it's not that I think it's a bad lineup or anything like that. My only real question was whether or not AJ Pollock should actually be in the lineup right now. So you guys saw his at-bats yesterday. The at-bat quality left a little bit to be desired. You know that I am a very big AJ Pollock fan. I think that he should be in every lineup. I think he's the best. I think he carried the Dodgers for a lot of the year. However, those postseason stats, man, they mean something. They absolutely mean something. Did not show up yesterday. And again, you can't put it on one guy. It's one of those situations where the whole lineup was bad. It's hard to point at one guy and be like, it was his fault. He had really bad at-bats. But you're looking at the at-bat quality, and it leaves a little bit to be desired. So my question is, do you think that Gavin Lux should be out there in left field? Does he do any better? Does he do any worse? Is the fact that he's not a starting big league outfielder mean that he shouldn't be out there in a lineup during the division series? Maybe. Neither had much success against Giants starter Kevin Gausman, but kind of does feel like you need to shake up the lineup a little bit more. Maybe add that speed dynamic in there, because AJ, man, bless his soul. AJ is not blessed with the wheels. And when you add in a hamstring injury that he's still probably recovering from, he's definitely not blessed with the wheels out there. So I would contend that you do need to put Gavin Lux out there. So we'll see what you guys think about that. Neil over on YouTube says AJ chasing the outside pitch again. When he's at his worst, you can pitch him sliders down and away all day long, and he's going to go for him. And right now he's doing that. They're not making him work. They're not making him look good. Francisco thinks that Pollock is going to go 0 for 11. I don't know what that means, like in the series or anything like that. Anthony says, any concern with Cody at first? Been a while since he was there. I mean, he's a Gold Glove caliber first baseman whenever he's there. I don't know necessarily in terms of recency how much that affects him too much. He's just a good glove out there. I think the fact that he doesn't have to move around too much is good for him. I think it makes him think a little bit less. Craig points out that Cody's back to swinging for the fences, and that's another part of it. It's like you have all this effort to keep a guy in the lineup that honestly has not looked good the whole year. Obviously, the last couple of games, there's been a little bit of an adjustment, a little bit of a change, but it's hard to justify. Roach says Luke Raley should be starting in left, and I will ban you so fast, Roach. I will ban you so quickly. You will have to talk to yourself in your home. That's all I have to say about that. Anthony says, I think AJ carried us enough through the season to give him a shot, but you have a short leash. And that's kind of the conversation that comes back to Dave Roberts today, where he's like, you're talking about Gavin Lux, you're talking about AJ Pollock. What goes into that decision making? How do you land on AJ Pollock ultimately after a bad game like last night? And he said, you know what? It's body of work. You got to look at the body of work for the whole season. You got to look what he's done for us. You got to look at his history. And that's the guy that you're going to put in there in a big moment, because it is a really big moment. The Dodgers do not want to fall behind 2-0 and have to play for their lives for the next 3 games, because that's what it will become, and they don't want to have to do that. So I get it on one hand. On the other hand, I'm also an advocate for putting in those guys that can be speed threats, those guys that can really wreak havoc on the base paths should the time come. Also, Gavin probably can cover way more ground than AJ. There's something to be said about getting reads off of the bat for sure, and there's a lot to that in the outfield especially, but really would like to see Gavin out there personally. And maybe I'm wrong. You guys let me know if I'm wrong. I definitely want to know that. But looking at the starting pitchers tonight, there's reason to be hopeful. There's reason to be worried all the time. That's pretty much what being a Dodger fan is, right? Reason to be hopeful, reason to be worried. I already stressed out. I already drank my beer. I don't have it anymore. It is gone. And I don't have a beer boy to go get me my beer. Right, Matthew? Well said, Matthew. You got Julio on the mound for us tonight, going 20-3 on the season with a 2.96 ERA in 32 starts. Notably, by far the most innings that he's ever thrown in his entire career as a professional baseball player, between the minor leagues, between the major leagues, wherever you want to say it. He has not thrown this many innings, but shown no signs of slowing down, oddly enough. And that's something that Dave's noted in several press conferences after his games, is that they talked about maybe lessening the load on him in the regular season in the last half of the year, the last part of the year. That never happened. They just kept throwing him out there. They kept running him out, and he kept showing him that he could do it. So why not? His last start in San Francisco, he went 5 2/3 and gave up 1 earned run. Notably, his last 3 starts against the Giants have been very good. 18 plus innings with 3 earned runs and 18 strikeouts. So he found his groove. I think he got roughed up in his first 2 starts of the year against the Giants, but found his groove against them. He will go up against Kevin Gausman, who is having one of those Giants devil magic years. 14-6 with a 2.81 ERA. Notably, 3.21 ERA in 3 starts against the Dodgers, and racked up the Ks against Los Angeles. So he's striking out a lot of Dodger batters. However, he's not been as good at home in 2021, which seems very counterproductive for a starting pitcher. 14 starts, 3.44 ERA, and a 6-4 record. There's something to that. Maybe there's not something to that. It's a postseason game. It's a different animal. It's going to be a lot different of a feel to it. Obviously, Logan Webb should never come out and spin 7 2/3 shutout innings against a $260 million team, but here we are. I digress. The good news, though, Kevin Gausman's not nearly the same ground ball pitcher that Logan Webb is, and I think that plays into the Dodgers' favor. I think ground ball pitchers are just going to crush the Dodgers throughout the postseason if that's the case, but we'll have to see about that, because I do worry that if they face... I had said yesterday, if they face Logan Webb again, I don't think he gets to them twice. I really don't think that he gets to them twice. If it comes to a game 5 between Walker and Logan Webb again, I think that we take that game. So if it does go 5, I feel good about it. I don't really know how people think that I could feel good about it, though, considering he spun 7 2/3 shutout innings and struck out 10 and didn't walk anybody and kept his pitch down low and made everybody look ridiculous. But here we are. I think somebody called it blind faith, and I was like, you know what? That's exactly what I think. William over on YouTube says, Gausman ain't all that. Dodgers make all pitchers look good. Let's change that. Yeah, I don't know. That was a little bit of like positive and negative there, William. I like that you have that dichotomy. Leslie says you need a beer assistant. Yeah, we do need a beer assistant. Huh. Yeah. There's only one of us here today. It's me. I can't be a beer assistant today. I should have had like my niece or something come along with me and run to the fridge for beers for me. Austin said every hitter last night did not adjust to the slider. Oh, man. That slider down on the way on the Dodgers hitters, especially right-handed hitters, oh, boy, it was really terrible. Francisco says Logan Webb was that guy. Tip your cap to him. Absolutely. I mean, he came out. He showed up. He did his thing. He had the game of his career and the biggest game of his career so far. I think he'll have at least one more big game in his career. And you got to tip your hat to him a little bit. The Dodgers did not show up ready for him, and he mowed them down. Chase says, what's in your cup tonight? I don't have a cup, Chase. I already drank my beer. We drank Jim Beam. Me. I took a clean shot for him, so we're ready to go. Victor says, do you think the Dodgers are tired? 3 out of 4 World Series. 3 out of 4 World Series. Okay. So they played in 3 World Series in 4 years. Do you think that's getting to them? They have had long seasons. There's maybe something to that. I don't think there's necessarily really something to that, but you never know. Hatfield over on Facebook says I'd go AJ for the same reason. At least a couple of bats anyways. I think that's kind of what you guys have kind of agreed on, where it's like you got to go AJ, but maybe give him a short leash. I don't know if you're going to give him every start in the postseason if he keeps hitting like he does, or, not hitting like he does. Brian says, LFG, team win for our boys in blue. We absolutely need that. Anthony says, we need to find the source of this evil giant magic and destroy it. I think it's that cheating lab that they're running up north. I don't know where it is, but, it's somewhere up there. Muay Thai something or other says, tonight is a must win. They won't have a chance in this series if they blow it tonight. And that's something that I want to talk about, because this feels like a must win game in a best of 5 series. Dave also noted that they're going to play this like it's a must-win game because nobody wants to go down 2-0. If you go down 2-0, well, you have to win 3 games, and 2 of those will be at Dodger Stadium, of course, and that plays in your favor a little bit. But when you're talking about the possibility of going back to San Francisco, back to Oracle Park for a game 5 in what will surely be an electric atmosphere, that's a little bit daunting, something that I don't quite want to face, something that I'm not ready for personally. We already faced one elimination game already this year in the playoffs on Wednesday, and I don't really want to go through that again. I don't want to feel sick. I don't want to feel nauseous. I don't want to feel like I'm going to die. And Anthony said Dodgers definitely made Opie look like Cy Young. Yeah, that's good. Real Opie look to Logan Webb for sure. Andrew Phillips says, does Matt Kemp want to talk? He's very quiet. Matt, do you have any comment about that? You're not getting paid today. Absolutely not getting paid today. Darkside Chevy on YouTube says the Dodgers had a very bad day. They'll win the series. It's what I'm hoping for. It seems like one of those games where they come out and put up like 6 runs in the first or something crazy like that just to go off, just to go crazy. And by the way, make sure you drop your clicks to pick who's going to go deep in the game tonight, who's going to be the hero, whatever you want to call it. Also, drop the final score so I can go through these real quick before we get out of here. I have I have some thoughts about that. Clint also wanted me to let you people know, the fine people of the Blue Heaven podcast, that he is 2 for 2 in his pick to click and win-loss predictions this postseason. So what I'm saying is Clint's an idiot. He says, though, he's calling a Dodger dub tonight, 8-3. CT3 does it to him. I don't know what that means. Sounds sensual, but I'm about it. So look for CT3 to do something real goodly, according to Mr. Real FRG over on Twitter. So make sure you drop your clicks to pick in today. I don't really know who mine is. If I'm going to roll the dice a little bit and just take a guess, I'm going to say Corey Seager does something really amazing tonight, just because he's Corey Seager and he does something amazing in the postseason pretty often. And I think against Kevin Gausman, that feels right. Has a good feeling to it. Feels real good. Oh boy. You guys are all dropping your things. I appreciate you. Wilfredo says it is a must-win game. Absolutely. Assail Loner says Dodgers in 5. I don't want to do that. Really just don't want to do that. I really don't want to do that. Sicko whatever on YouTube says 5-1 final score. Joe Bennett says 8-3 Dodgers final score. LA Sports Fans on YouTube says T.O. pinch hit home run in the 8th. That'd be cool. I'm about that. Hopefully that's in a win. Craig says JT is the click to pick for him. Final score 6-2 Dodgers. Ivan 5-3 Dodgers. Matty Man Dodge says Dodgers scoring 8 runs. That's a joke, right? It's one of those things, man, where it feels like the day after getting just shut out completely and looking entirely lost at the plate, they're going to come out big. Who knows? Jay over on YouTube says, hopefully no trash at bats tonight. Hopefully indeed. Something that we can't have. Rebecca David on YouTube says Corey Seager is her click to pick, copying me. I appreciate you. Jonathan says, how is Will looking at the plate? And that's a conversation that not this guy, but Clint had on the last pregame show. Yep. He didn't really like the way Will Smith's been swinging the bat. So let me know what you guys think on that as well. He seems to be maybe not as locked in as we would like him to be, especially at a time when we really need him to. Wilfredo says 7-2 Dodgers final score. Hatfield says, I'm hoping for the LA win. Let's say a 5-3 Dodgers. That's good. Leslie says 4-2 Dodgers win. Ooh, Roger Guillen says 16-1. I don't know who he's going for, but I'm assuming it's the Dodgers, but 16-1. I mean, if that's the final score, Roger, I don't know. I'll Venmo you or something. I don't really know. That's a good one. Oh, he says Dodgers. Okay. Luis says, please don't swing at balls. That's a good one for you guys. Angel says, put Chico at first base. We are not going to put Chico at first base. I think we're trying to win this ball game. Personally, it feels like a must-win game. It feels like something where guys have to come through. Yeah, if you're going to talk about what needs to happen in order for this game to go the Dodgers' way, I think they got to simplify a lot of things. I think they got to actually make Kevin Gausman work. He's one of those guys that can rack up the strikeouts if you let him. He is one of those guys that can, give up no hits if you let him. But this is one of those cases where the Dodgers need to come out swinging. They need to come out big. They need to set the tone early, get it moving early, get the bats going early. If not, I don't want to face the opportunity of going home and needing to win 3 consecutive games. I don't like that. I don't think it's going to be good. But if I'm talking final score, things like that, I do think the Dodgers walk away with the win tonight because we absolutely need it. A couple more comments before we get out of here. Hallelujah over on YouTube says 11 in the first inning again. Again? Oh, yeah. Braves series last year. Gotcha. I follow along. Yeah. I didn't know what you were talking about. Clint says he has running water again. So that means that he's alive. He is clearly not here, though. So shout out to him, but congrats on having running water. Craig Osterberg says Will Smith 2 doubles. Francisco says Dodgers in 5. Man, we're really going back to the Dodgers in 5. Aubrey says all by himself, committed to the job. Yes, Aubrey. All by myself, completely committed to the job. Just me. Donk says amen, Brooke. Donk, I don't know what we're saying amen about, but you agree with me, and so all I know is that I really, really, really like you. Guys, I think that's pretty much it for me. I'm by myself. There's only so much I can do talking to myself, talking to Matt Kemphead. Real pretty to look at, though. Good looking dude. I appreciate you, Matt. Thank you for being here with us. You guys can find us on the internet. We're at DodgersNation.com. Subscribe to Blue Heaven on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Play, Stitcher Radio Player, FM, and so much more. Again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, YouTube.com/DodgersNationTV. It'll make Doug very, very happy. you'll get to hear when we go live, like we do every single freaking postseason game. We're going to do it before. We're going to do it after. We'll all be around. Doug will be doing post games and all that nonsense. Yeah, go there. Subscribe. Do it now. I'll wait. You come here often? No. No. Did you do it? Thank you. Guys, I'm at BrookMe3. That guy over there is Matt Kemp. You cannot find him as Matt Kemp on Twitter. Oh, maybe you can. I don't know what your Twitter is, but I'm on Twitter and Instagram. We're at Dodgers Nation on Twitter and Instagram as well. Thank you guys for hanging out with us today. Thank you for bearing with us while we figure out this whole postseason pregame show, because it's really hot and I get really, really sweaty. And that's pretty much it. Love you guys. Thank you for being here. Go Dodgers. Please don't suck. Bye.